Hey, this is 6 Volt in Von Doom's lab. So this is Hook of the Reaper release 1.2.7. So I know probably people have been waiting for this one. Yeah, let's get into it. There's only one bug. So I saw it turned out for just random flashes. This is for the random flash with like one color or with the two colors or with the regular lights it's one light or with the two intensities. So it affects regular and RGB. So it just was writing the one light or the three lights multiple times. So it wasn't writing like the whole group. But if you had like two groups, then I will write everything four times. Three, it would write nine times, so kind of exponential or to the power, so three to the squared kind of thing. So three times three is nine. Two squared is four kind of thing. But it's fixed in version 1.2.7. But also yeah, then like I was talking about with the regular lights, I kind of go back and forth on if I should go to state or not. It could be a lot faster if I go to state, but I don't know if it's really worth it. And also I don't know if the intensity, you're getting out of that much of the intensity, changing the intensity of the lights. It's like I usually just put it to 255 all the time to max it out. So I don't know. I might change that later on. Probably see if people think if it's slow or not still. But okay. So that was only the one bug. The enhancements, of course, is I fixed the one command at a time per light controller. So I know pretty much everybody's kind of been waiting for this one. And also I kind of feel a little bad. I feel like I kind of like I told my wife I like jingled the keys in front of everybody, then left, kind of thing. But now that I'm kind of it's working, it's getting out, it's not too bad. And now so no one has said anybody, no one has complained or anything. This is just me feeling bad. No, everybody's been really nice, so I just want to make sure. I still feel like I put out like, oh, look at all these cool things, and then it has problems. If you had two light controllers, you're okay, but you're not. But now that's should be all taken care of. So kind of as that explains, so pretty much how it works is when the group file loads, it makes a byte array and used array positions for every group. So depending on what controller you have, it will be 8 times a byte. So you have an array of 8 bytes. Or if you have the pack ultimate IO, then it's going to be 12 times a byte array. And every group kind of has that. Then instead of trying to test out every like 8 groups or 12 groups, I mean 8 arrays or 12 arrays, so did for each group list out the used array positions. So let's say you use the first 32 pins, so 0 through 31. So used array positions will be 0, 1, 2, and 3, right? If you use the first 16, 0 through 15, it would just be 0 and 1. So then you're only checking the array positions that you need to. So all the other array positions, like the going on, you don't check at all. So with the data, I can easily check the group if that group pins that it uses, you check it against the use pin byte array, which of course will have like 8 or 12 too. And then I pretty much AND it with the group byte or the bytes. So if it's array position 0, I do AND it 0 with AND it with the use pins array 0. So you AND all the 8 bits together, and if you get 0, then hey, you're good. No pins are used. But if it doesn't come back 0, then hey, something those are pins are being used. Then it ignores the command. So it's pretty really fast. It can go in there and check it to say, hey, if these pins are used or not. Then on the other side, I created a new class called light execution class. So these are, well, so when a command comes in, it creates this class. So why didn't I call it like light command? Well, light command already existed. I already used it somewhere else, so I couldn't call it light command. So I called it light execution. So, and of course, with the own class, it has its own timer, which I was talking about last, where I have to create new timers every time for a command. So this kind of solved that problem. And it can run regular lights, RGB lights, and when it finishes, it deletes the execution when it finishes. So it kind of works out really good. That's one of the benefits of C++, which is object-oriented coding and all that. So it has access to the light controller's write commands through singles and slots. So when it's created, it connects everything up. Then when it finishes, it disconnects and before it's deleted. So what happens? A light controller has a pointer of light. So it has a pointer array of 256 of light execution classes. So when it creates it, it just all those pointers are just null. They're not pointing anywhere. And the reason why you want to do that because you don't want to create all that memory, right? So if you did it not as a pointer, it'll create. You have to create 256 of them all, and it'll create a lot of memory. So this is way you're only creating them as you use them. Then when you destroy them, you give that memory back. Then with the 256, I can use a ring counter. So that is, I just use an 8-bit byte for a number. So it goes from 0 to 255. Then when you add 1 to 255, it flips back to 0. So it just goes from 0 to 255, 0 to 255, and just keeps on going around and around. So only concern probably with that is can you fill the array with 256 commands? Well, that's pretty much impossible. You can have like one pin per group, but with the pack Ultimate IO, that's only 96 pins, so you can have 96 commands running at one time. So you can really never have more. So then you should never really worry about overloading that array up. So then when the command is also, like I was saying, when the command is done, it gets deleted and it just keeps on going around and around. So as you saw, probably people in the video saw, it's all working good. So I have no problems with it. Then another thing, I just cleaned up the code too, since I had some of the time. I removed the COM device code and files. If you remember in the older versions of Hook of the Reaper, I had where you can load up a COM device and save it, and I had all the files with it, so I kind of got rid of all those files. So, and also I kind of got rid of some of the old loading of light guns and settings. I had old versions of how to load the older settings. So I kind of got rid of that and then kind of removed about 50 kilobytes from the exe, which is pretty cool. But that was the only one. So if you remember from the roadmap, I had from 1.2.7, I was going to add in background functions too. But I thought I'd probably skip that right now because that would add a lot of more time to this release. And I know people want to get the one command at a time per light controller fix. And like I said before, I felt bad like jingling the keys in front of everybody, then leaving kind of thing. So I'm going to push the background functions into for 1.2.8 now. Then also, right now, as I talked about, I'm doing the Nano LED, the Pack 64 LED, and the Pack Ultimate IO. There is other Ultimark devices, the Pack Drive, the U-Hid, and the Blue Hid that's still out there. But I kind of go back and forth on them if I should do them now or should do them later because I don't know if they add that much or not. Because it's only, I think there's 16 lights, which is a simple on and off. There's no intensity or anything, it's just state on and off. So I was thinking maybe after I switch regular lights to state, then it might be easier to do. But then I was kind of like, should I do addressable lights before it or not? Yeah, I kind of go back and forth on. So that the roadmap is kind of really questionable because I have those, and also then I was looking at doing addressable LEDs. And for that, I probably first do like a Raspberry Pi Pico with WS2812B lights because it's all pretty kind of cheap. I think you can get like two Picos for $15, 100 of the LEDs for $15, and these are RGB LEDs and a power supply for like $20. So that comes out to like $50. Then I was thinking you can have like maybe four, maybe up to eight addressable arrays with the Pico. But the one bad thing is I would have to create C or C++ code for the Pico and other devices like the ESP32 to make it work with Hook of the Reaper, because Hook of the Reaper needs to talk to the device with the USB and all that. So I need to do USB communications with it. So then I can tell it, hey, write this array or not. And some of them is it's very dependent. You can't just write one LED out of the array. You have to like pretty much write all the LEDs in the array. So you kind of way it works is you kind of have like a refresh rate depending on the speed and how many you have in there, and then you probably have some bytes or you set up all the LEDs. I think they come out to they need like at least 32 bits because sometimes they add in a white light with it. So then that would be 8 bytes times 4, which is 32. So then you need 32 times how many in the array. Then if you have 4 or 8 of them too, then that could eat up a lot of memory. So it depends with that. But like I said, that would probably be more later and where we go. And depends on what I do with the background function. So I don't know. You can give me your feedback on that. Should I do the pack drive you hit or blue hit, or maybe you should do maybe put that on for later and do addressable light LEDs right now. I don't know, but that's pretty much it. So hopefully now everybody can actually, depending even if you only have one light controller, get everything kind of running and working. But that's pretty much it. So thanks. Bye.